Good afternoon, morning, good whenever you're watching this, Earthlings. It's Mrs. Adamson here, or should I say Scientist Adamson. So before we begin, I've got a few things I have to get ready. So first I have to get on my safety goggles. I got my apple here because I don't know, maybe it'll explode. And I have a knife here. I think I'm just going to snack while I teach. Just kidding. So, today we're going to ask ourselves, how is the earth like an apple? Well, I'm really getting hungry, so I kind of want to sort of eat this, but I'm not. And the reason I have my safety goggles on is because safety first, and this might blow up. You never know with Mrs. Adamson. So, hopefully, this doesn't blow up. It might. I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys. So, today, how does earth look like an apple? Well, first of all, we have to visit planet Earth. That's where we live. Everybody lives on planet Earth, hopefully. I don't know. We might have some aliens out there. Are you an alien? What about you? All right, so first we're going to take a look at an apple. Well, if I cut my apple open, hang on. Nope, it didn't blow up. Just kidding. I am a terrible quoter. All right, got it. All right, man. Okay, so our apple's cut. Ooh, got a little bit on my eye. So our apple's cut and it looks like this. How is this like the earth? Because I'll tell you what, this is pretty tasty. Does that mean the earth is tasty? I don't know, maybe. All right, so here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to pretend that I'm going to pull out a shovel, okay? So we have a big shovel, and I'm going to dig through the earth, all the way through the earth to China. I can do that, right? Can I do that? I don't know. Let's see. If I dig, I know some TV shows have done that before. Like the person digs and they dig and they think they're going to get to China, but could we really do that? Well, we're going to answer that question today, too. So, our Earth actually has three layers, just kind of like an ogre has three layers. Thank you, Shrek, for helping me out with this. So, our Earth has three major layers, okay? So, we're going to dig into our Earth to see what's inside that Earth. Okay. Now, I want you to realize that we live on the surface of the earth. So we live on the outside of the earth. When I was younger, I used to think that we went into the earth and like the spaceships left off of like the middle of the earth, but we live on the surface. So when you see earth pictures from far up from space, that's actually where we live on the surface, that blue and that green. Okay. All right, scientists. So the first part of the earth is the pizza crust. You get that pizza crust? I know, right? So the crust is where we live. It is the outside of the earth, okay? And going back to my apple, remember I said it was kind of like an apple? So if you look at this, the crust is like the skin of the apple, okay? So we live on the earth's skin. That sounds gross. But anyway, we live on it, okay? So let me tell you about the crust. The crust, it's the outermost layer, all right? It has the continents, it has the states, the capitals, everywhere we live. It has the ocean too, and even the ocean floor that's deep, deep down with those creepy anglerfish, you know, the one with the light that goes after Nemo and Dory and all them. I guess it was Nemo as his dad, Marlin. But anyway, so it is all of that, the ocean and everything, okay? It's the coolest layer, so it's not hot, even though sometimes our summers get hot, but it's not as hot as some of the other layers. So I want you to keep that in mind. The crust gets warm, it doesn't get hot. There's a huge difference. And it also has solid rock, which means it has the hard rock. Okay, it's the gravel that we have out there, and it has granite, which is another type of rock. And next unit, we will talk about rocks. Okay, so the crust is that outer layer, it's where we live. I want you to think of some other things that would be on the crust. Maybe a car would be on the crust, your dog, your cat, Mrs. Adamson, you. We all live on the crust. Okay, guys? So, just another example of the ocean being on the crust, okay? And it's that outer layer. Alrighty. So I want you to look at this picture, okay? This is the picture of the continents. This gets me so excited. If you look at this picture of the continents, doesn't it look like everything all fits together on the crust? Okay. Look at this. It's not one solid piece. So our crust over time, and we talk about this later on, has broken apart. It's broken apart. And there's these things underneath the earth that are hitting, they're sliding, they're pulling. So like our earth is constantly moving. Not only is it rotating and revolving in our world, but it is also moving, and it's doing this without us even knowing. But sometimes we do know, and that's when earthquakes happen. So I want you to look at this. It kind of comes together like a jigsaw puzzle. And look at these continents, guys. This gives me goosebumps. Okay. If you look at all the continents, and hopefully you remember from third grade, if not, we have North America, South America, Europe, Asia. I hit the wrong one. Asia, Africa, and Australia. Antarctica is at the bottom because it's very cold. Burr. That's a song you'll learn later. But anyway, so if you look at the continents, doesn't it look like they all kind of come together? It looks like Australia would have been right here. It looks like South America. You can't really see it. I'm pointing to it, but you can't see it. But if you look, and it looks like South America, I should probably use the mouse. South America goes right into Africa. So isn't it kind of cool how at one time the whole world was all put together? Why in the world would the crust have changed? That's for a later date. Stay tuned. All right. So now our next layer, we have our crust. Now we have our mantle. Mantle starts with M. Middle starts with M. That's kind of how I remember this. So the mantle is that middle layer, and it's just right below the crust. Now, what's really cool about this is it's rock, but it's like Laffy Taffy rock. So it would be like if I took my Laffy Taffy and I stretched it out and I put it back together and I stretched it out. That's what kind of rock is in this mantle layer, because the deeper we go down, the hotter it gets. And the other thing, since it has rock that is melted and kind of ooky and gooey, it is also the thickest layer that we have. It is super thick. Well, not like this. It's a lot thicker. Okay. And it is also 5 times hotter than boiling water. So the mantle is burning. So if you think about it, what would probably be made in this layer? Think about that. All right. So I want you to look at this. So we have our crust where we live on, where the mountains, volcanoes are at, but then deep, 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 deep down. Look at that. It goes all the way down, and that is the mantle. So we have, whoa, I just hit my basket. We have the crust, then we have the mantle underneath. Okay. Now, this is just another picture of the melted rock. Remember, it's like Laffy Taffy. So it's like, okay, explosion. All right, so volcanoes, actually, the top of some volcanoes go all the way down to the mantle. That's kind of cray-cray to think that it goes all the way deep down. Now, the next layer that we have is actually broken into two. Oh man, it's covering up my picture. Oh, look, I can move me. Okay, so the core is broken into 2 parts. So we have the inner core and the outer core. The inner core and the outer core are both part of the center of our earth. And if you look back to our apple, our skin is the crust. The part that you eat is the mantle, because again, it's the thickest. And then the inside, the seeds, that is the core. Remember our beginning question, something about an apple? I kind of forgot what it is. Do you remember? Because I forgot. Now I'm just eating the world. All right, so let's talk about this. The outer and the inner core. The outer core is below the mantle of the Earth's outer core. The layer is made up of boiling hot stuff called lava. This is where lava is from? So you're telling me that lava is all the way from the bottom? Wait a minute. It's all the way from the core? That's a long journey that lava has to go. I hope that you guys, when you make your volcanoes, I hope that you get your lava to come out if your core is all the way in the center of the earth. Isn't that kind of weird? So then also, it's 2,200 kilometers thick. So it's super, super thick, and it's made of liquid iron and nickel, which is a substance that, let's just think of it as a type of rock. So it's liquid in that part of the core. Okay. The next layer is called the inner core. This layer is solid, which means it's hard. So the inside, the very inside, and scientists have never been here. We've sent stuff there because we would not survive. It's way too hot there. Like we couldn't even go to the mantle. Okay. So the way we get this stuff is through reports and through different things, robots going into our earth. Okay. That's how we obtain this information. So this layer is solid, which means it's hard. And the reason it's like this is due to pressure. All of this pressure from our earth is pushing into the center, and it has this middle part. Okay. I'm going to hold my hand like this for my inner core. and it's a hot, dense ball of iron, which is like another type of mineral, another type of substance that we'll talk about when we get into rocks and minerals, okay? And it's the hottest layer because it's the center of it, okay? So I want to recap. We have the crust, and look, in my class, I like to do actions. So I go like this for the crust because it's the biggest, okay? It's on the outside. Then I bring it in and I say mantle. And then I make my hands like this for the core. Okay. So do that with me. Crust, mantle, core. Crust, mantle, core. Okay. And remember, the core has two parts. So those are the layers of the earth. Isn't our earth amazing, guys? Like, I just find science so fascinating. And you know what? I'm almost done with my earth apple. So, did you figure it out yet? Have you figured out how Earth is like an apple? If you have, why don't you go on your Google Classroom and your teacher has posted a question that you're going to answer. I want you to explain it in 3 to 5 sentences. Yep, you heard me right. 3 to 5 sentences. You got this. Now, you can watch this video again, or you can see if you can remember it. Okay, so tell me, how is my juicy, delicious apple just like the earth? And no, the answer is not because we eat it, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Scientist Adamson. Next week, maybe explosions. No matter what, got the goggles on ready to go. I'm waiting for my lab coat too. I'll have that next time. Thanks, guys. Peace out, Adamson.